Hello, you guys. This is Sarah, and I'm excited today. Today's video is going to be about anxiety and narcissistic abuse and the mental signs of anxiety. What is a mental sign? I don't know, but we're going to dive into mental signs of anxiety, the result of anxiety, specifically after experiencing narcissistic abuse, because the two go hand in hand. You have anxiety when you're in the narcissistic and emotionally unavailable and abusive relationship, and you think, oh, I'll just get out of the relationship. I'll just cut it off. I'll end the relationship. I'll go no contact. I know that's what you're supposed to do, so that's what I'm going to do. And then the anxiety will go away. Well, wouldn't that be nice to have a magic wand to make that anxiety go away? So I do have one for you, but we can't just talk about it in a video because it's not just something that is abracadabra. It's an actual transformation and inner experience from the core and the root of what's causing that anxiety. So let's dive into that. The mental signs of anxiety. So today we're going to cover lots of them. One of them is this feeling the worst will happen. So always waiting for the other shoe to drop, having one foot in, one foot out. Maybe you're in a really good space or a good situation now, and you have one foot in and you're feeling, okay, it's good on one hand or one foot. And the other foot is this feeling that the worst will happen. And with that, that's a mental sign of anxiety, feeling that the worst will happen. Even if things are really good now, there's this, how long is it going to last? Not going to last forever. The tables are going to turn, the tides are going to turn, the shoe will drop, and then the worst will happen, which takes you out of the experience of the presence of feeling good, really, really enjoying everything that you have worked so hard to accomplish or to achieve. This shows up even if you're in a healthy and loving relationship after having been in a toxic and narcissistic one. You feel the worst going to happen. Those inner unhealed wounds of abandonment, fear, rejection, judgment, not feeling safe to truly let that new, safe, loving, kind person in because the worst could happen. So your mind is always fixated and focused on, oh my gosh, bad things are going to happen. Even though they're good now, and I have no logical reason to think that bad things are going to happen, I just fear that the worst will happen. And that leads to the next mental sign of anxiety. Racing thoughts. It feels like your thoughts are on an autobahn and they're going a million miles an hour. Like your thoughts are racing past you and in front of you and around you, and you just want to slow them down. This impacts your ability to sleep, your ability to stay focused, stay present, and slow down, which creates discomfort and chaos internally because your body's not going that quickly, but your thoughts are racing everywhere, past you, through you, above you, below you, around you. Your thoughts are just racing constantly. And then you feel like you're missing out. Like, well, what if that thought had something important and I didn't get that from it? And so you're here, but you're not here because your thoughts are racing. That's one of the other mental signs of anxiety. Another one leads to that is feeling so spaced out because you don't know which way is up and which way is down because of those racing thoughts. So that's a mental sign of anxiety, feeling difficulty concentrating. What if I was supposed to focus on that thought? Well, what if it was that one? How do I know it was that one and not that one? So difficulty concentrating. It feels like your thoughts and your mind is in a ping pong machine and your mind is the ball and it's just going this way and that way and every which way and up and down and all around. And you're going, oh my God, I can't do this. And it seems like it never stops. So that's a mental sign of anxiety. And that leads to feeling detached from your body. Here's your body, right? Here it is. You can touch it. I can see it. I can feel it. But my mind is over there. And I feel like I'm somewhere lost in the racing thoughts of my mind, waiting for the worst to happen. So I feel detached from my body. So many people that I work with to do the inner work to transform after having been in emotionally abusive or emotionally unavailable relationships, narcissistic, toxic relationships, experience that this feeling detached from my body. And that's what they describe it as. It feels like a floating above and I'm witnessing, I'm seeing what's happening. That's a sign of trauma. And it's also a mental sign of anxiety. When you feel disconnected or detached from your body physically, you don't feel this beautiful, loving, supportive, safe connection to your body. So because of that disconnection, you harm your body in different ways. Maybe emotionally eat, you enter into unhealthy relationships because of those unhealthy thoughts. You numb, there's all kinds of things that people do when they feel detached from their body because they want to feel connected with their body. It can lead to self-harm because you're just wanting to feel anything, and even feeling pain feels better than feeling nothing, because it for that moment that you're feeling that feeling, you're feeling connected with your body, and it feels better than feeling detached from your body. So that is a mental sign of anxiety. But that all can lead to difficulty in so many areas of your life, difficulty in so many ways, and difficulty in one of the most important ways that helps you to feel calm, comforted, connected, and present. And that's the ability to confidently make a decision. Not just the ability to make a decision, but the ability to confidently make a decision and stick with it, and not flip flop and change your mind later on and say, no, I'm going to have this. Okay, are you sure? Well, I think so. That's not the ability to confidently make a decision. The ability to confidently make a decision impacts everything, because then you're confident in that decision. You're self-assured, you trust yourself, and you trust that decision that you make to stay and stand with it and not flip-flop. But a mental sign of anxiety is difficulty making a decision. You have difficulty making a decision after getting out of a narcissistic relationship because that person was always gaslighting you, was always manipulating you, was always questioning your ability to make decisions, always making you feel like that decision was the wrong one. It wasn't the right one. It wasn't a good enough one, that it was going to cause them pain. And they're always stuck in the space of this victim mentality. Well, if you want to do that, fine, I guess we can do that. I mean, I wanted to go do this, but so it leads to mental anxiety and you feeling just so much stress around making a decision and being confident and firm in that decision that you make. So that's another mental sign of anxiety. Intrusive thoughts. That is why the most powerful and important part of transforming past pain to present power, my signature program, is addressing intrusive thoughts, identifying the kinks, the distortions in those thoughts, identifying the patterns of thoughts that you get stuck in, that lead to all of these things that cause anxiety. So intrusive thoughts is a mental sign, or a sign of mental anxiety. And I'm saying anxiety mental because it can present physically as well. So shaking, your hands may be shaking, your foot just sitting there bouncing, going up and down, picking, nail biting. Those are all signs of anxiety as well, but those are more physically presented. So these mental signs of anxiety are not ones that you can generally physically see. Sometimes you see it in the way that the body responds. Maybe you get red, you get sweaty palms. That's another physical sign of anxiety. So these are more the mental signs of anxiety, but they do go hand in hand, right? You have a mental sign of anxiety, and then more than likely you have a physical sign of anxiety, but you don't always have to. But intrusive thoughts, invasive thoughts, maybe you're on track and you're journaling, you're getting out your journal every morning and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to start this day off positive. I did my affirmations, I did my meditations, all the Asians, and then intrusive thought. Where does that come from, right? That comes from an inner unhealed core wound. And when I say inner unhealed core wound, that's all to do with those experiences from your past, those inner unconscious beliefs that you have about yourself, which leads to this hypervigilance of bodily sensations, which is more of the physical presentations of anxiety that I was talking about just a second ago. And I want you to just take caution and forewarning when you're researching anxiety. There's a lot of anxiety tips out there. And here's the thing with the anxiety tips. Everyone that I work with, everyone that's come to me has tried so many things in the past, so many other modalities of healing, modalities of trying to release and let go and be free from this anxiety. The problem with the tips is they don't take you to the core and the very root of what's causing these symptoms of anxiety, what's causing the brain fog, what's causing the intrusive thoughts, what's causing the difficulty concentrating, what's causing that feeling of being spaced out, just zoned out all the time, being there but not there. Like someone could go like this to you and you wouldn't even blink because you're often somewhere else land. And that's because of that anxiety. And that's one of those sometimes self-soothing coping mechanisms. Maybe in that moment, ooh, hello, being spaced out, you're practicing a self-care technique. You're practicing noticing the thought. You're practicing being the observer. You're practicing focusing on your breath. Breathe in. And then maybe you forget to breathe out because your mind follows another racing thought. So some of these anxiety tips to help reduce anxiety and stress, they can help momentarily, they can help temporarily. And some of them are to have compassion and acceptance. So maybe you're practicing radical forgiveness or self-acceptance, and then seeing the thought, going with the thought and seeing where you think it's taking you and accepting that, right? Instead of trying to fight against it. But that doesn't get to the core and root of what causes that thought to come up so that you chase it and follow it. And how does that help serve or benefit you to chase or follow an intrusive thought? Another anxiety tip is prioritizing your needs. Watch yourself blossom. The problem with that is someone who's experienced all of that stuff in the past does not believe that they have the right to have needs. They truly unconsciously at their core and root believe that they're selfish or wrong or don't deserve to have those needs met. So often you'll read an anxiety tip that says prioritize your needs. And you're so disassociated, so disconnected from what your needs are because you've been so programmed, so conditioned, and have so many years or decades sometimes of filling other people's needs, satisfying others' needs, and putting theirs above your own that you don't even know what yours are anymore. Again, you question and wonder, is that my need or is that their need? Am I trying to fulfill their need or is that really what I want? How do I even know what I want? How can I be sure that I know what I want? Again, the racing thoughts, the intrusive thoughts, the feeling spaced out, following that rabbit down the hole. And one of those anxiety tips is prioritize your needs. What? And that can feel so, it can lead you to feeling so helpless, so disconnected, so frustrated because you don't even know what your needs are. And that's one of the tips that you're supposed to take that's supposed to lead you down the road of alleviating the anxiety that you're experiencing. So I get that, right? And if you see another tip that says, allow yourself to shine, embrace your healing journey, but your healing journey is one chock full of pain because you've just been going to someone or going somewhere and just talking about all the painful events and experiences, that actually leads you to feeling even more anxiety. So you don't want to do that anymore. So then you're stuck with sitting with it yourself and you're told, sit with the feeling, sit with the feeling. And you're like, I'm freaking tired of sitting with this feeling. I just don't want to feel it anymore. I want to feel happiness. I want to feel calmness. I want to feel free. I want to feel safe in my body. And with this anxiety, I don't feel safe in my body. And then someone may tell you, well, just embrace how far you've come. Just have gratitude. And you're thinking, well, how can I be grateful for anxiety? And then you take the negative and you add it to the positive, and then it feels like that just cancels that out, right? And so you can feel stuck. So some of those are the mental signs of anxiety. Be careful with the anxiety tips that are out there to truly, truly transform and break free from these symptoms and signs of anxiety that you're experiencing, specifically after having been in a narcissistic or toxic relationship that lead to this type of anxiety. And these experiences of anxiety can be addressed, can be accessed very, very quickly through the unconscious mind, because that's where the programming is stored. That's where that programming was shaped, was founded, was transitioned. Perhaps you didn't have anxiety until you got into that relationship and you want to go back to the old you want to go back to the confident you want to go back to feeling safe in your body, and you don't know how, you don't know where to begin, and you don't know how to get there, but you want and need to get there so that you can live that life now that you truly want to, that free life, that happy life, that life where you're like, things are good. And you know what? things are never perfect, but even if something bad happens in my life, I can embrace it. I can get through it without having this anxiety be so raised and so elevated that I get to that point where I'm just completely stuck. And then I want to shut down and I want to isolate and I just want to be left alone. All of that is not the way that we were supposed to or intended to live and experience this life. And if that is the life that you're living and an experience that you're having now, even when you're out of that past unhealthy relationship and you're frustrated with yourself and you're still experiencing all those mental signs of anxiety, like the brain fog, and the feeling that the worst is going to happen, and just being consumed by those intrusive thoughts, feeling detached from your body, difficulty concentrating, and you're realizing it's impacting your personal relationships, your work relationship, maybe your performance at work, or any area of your life, just tired of feeling so spaced out, then I would love to connect with you. I'd love to see if we are a good fit to work together, if we're in alignment to work together one-to-one. Or you can just go ahead and just dive right in to that Transforming Past Pain to Present Power program that I was telling you about earlier, and go ahead and get started today. Either way, I hope this video has found you where you are and has brought to light this awareness and this inner knowing that you don't need to live with this anymore. You can be free from this mental anxiety and even the physical signs of the anxiety that the mental anxiety causes. And it does not take years and years and years of therapy. It doesn't take reading any more books. More than likely, you probably could write the books yourself. So you're not wanting more books. You're not wanting more time talking about the problems. You're just wanting quick access to a powerful, positive solution. So that is what you can look forward to. That is what you can expect. And I would love to connect. So remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, all of those beautiful, wonderful things, and find out more information in the description below this video to connect. All right, guys, take care.